If you can, Daddy, just try to give us just the background. Just start from day one, telling about who you are, your age, and just start from the beginning. Just let the Lord use you and have your way.
I just want to say hi to everybody. Giving unto God that you hear in my life. He's my all in all. I just want to say in the beginning, I thank God for being here. Right now, I'm 83 years old. Got a birthday coming up the 19th of this month. If the Lord let me live to see it, I'll be 84. During the 84 years, I look back over my life. My parents were Charles Everett, Lucy Hines Everett. In this family were 12 children. My dad and mother raised me. As I remember, I was about 9 or 10 years old when they passed. The same year, 1949, my daddy died in January. As I remember, the snow was on the ground. And my mother died the same year in August or September. I can't remember, but the same year. And then all us scattered. I went to live with my brother-in-law and sister, Irma Moore and Paul Moore. They raised me from there till I got to about 20 some years old. A lot of things happened back there then. Back when I was raised up, they had white kids and colored kids at school. And you couldn't go in the restaurant and sit down like you do now. We had to order our food through a little hole, and they shove it out through a little hole to get it. But as I remember, there was only one place you could go and sit down. It was named the Lord's Shoe Shop, and Bayfoot had a place back in the shoe shop where he sold hot dogs, fish sandwiches, and sodas. That's the only place you could sit down and enjoy your little snack or food you want to eat.
And where was this at?
This was in Robinsonville. Back there then, Robinsonville was, you had that in the store, anything you want to buy was in Robinsonville. You had to go to Williamston, Greenville, for nothing. Everything right here in Robinsonville you want to buy. Clothes, shoes, hardware stuff. It was in Robinsonville. As I remember, on Saturday, you almost had to part your way to walk the street.
Wow.
There's so many people there. But now you can shoot in Robinsonville. Don't hardly hit nobody. And as I look back over my life, I came up through trials and tribulation, uphill, downhill. And as I grew up, my brother-in-law and my sister, they live on Bill Hill. And we used to come to Rawsonville, and we used to get groceries, come back.
So how did y'all travel to Robinsonville?
Back there, when I was living with my father, 8 and 9 years old, we used to have an old mule and cart. used to hitch up, used to drive the mule to Rawsonville. I remember Mother and him sitting on the belly of hay, and I was sitting on the back of the cart with them, going to Rawsonville. And he always leave Rawsonville before the sun go down. Before it gets dark, get back home before it gets dark. As I remember one Saturday, of course he'd do it every Saturday we went. We finally got a car. It was a Buick. I don't know what model it was. But as I remember, just about the sunset, every Saturday that we go to town, he would holler, "Let's go!"
And how would he say it?
"Let's go!" He would leave Rawsonville just about sunset. And if everybody went to the car, he would holler, "Let's go!"
So what happened if you didn't make it to the car when he cranked up?
Everybody was there, obedience. That's one thing I think, look now, kids not obedient to their parents now like they was back there then. When he said, "Let's go," he meant let's go home. And we all had to be at the car when he said it. If you weren't at the car, you better be making your way there. If you didn't, later on you will know the results of it.
So you were how old when you say your parents died?
I was about between 9 and 10 years old.
9 and 10. So it was 12 of you all. So
yes, it was 12 of us.
You moved in with the Moores.
Yeah,
your sister.
After our parents died, we all scattered. We stayed with different ones.
So how was school at that particular time?
I remember starting in school when I was about 6 years old. We had to walk from where we lived to Rawsonville Elementary School, which is East End now. I met you one day. I took my car and just went back where we lived and drove all the way to the school. It was 2.5 miles from the house to the school. And I recall, figured it up, we were walking 5 miles a day. 2.5 miles there, 2.5 miles back.
Wow.
And some days when it really rained hard, we didn't go to school. I remember some days it was so cold you could hear your foot walking on the dirt. Wow. It wasn't paved road then, but like it was now. We were all dirt road. The ground froze so hard you could hear somebody walking a good ways from you. And as I remember, my sister Teen, which she was about 2 years older than I was, she went and stayed with my brother Boot and Nellie Mae. And we had to walk past her house. And when she come out, she had some black and white shoes. I'll never forget. Those shoes were run over. We all carried laughed good about it afterwards. Back then, time was tight and hard. When you got a pair of shoes, you wore them till you wore them out.
Oh my goodness. And now we got more shoes than we can wear in a year.
And now we have more shoes than we could ever wear.
I'm telling you. So tell us a little bit more about Grandma Lucy. You said that you were young, but if you have any memories of like the way she cooked or what she cooked.
Yeah, she used to cook vegetables, fish. I remember one time my brother caught a possum around a pea stack, and he brought him home. Kept him about 2 weeks, fed him solid food, and cleaned him out. And Mama cooked them. I'll never forget that. She poured them first, then she put them in the oven and baked them. red pepper, vinegar over. It was good. But he was greasy.
Ooh, the possum.
And since then, I had so much talk about possum. I don't want no more possum.
I don't want to eat any either.
And I remember a time when I was going to school, we used to pack lunch in a little brown bag. And sometimes we just have a little lunch back in the coat room. Sometimes the older big guy take your lunch and eat it up.
Oh my goodness.
And when you get back home, sometimes you be so hungry.
Wow.
It's just like, I remember one time, mother had just cooked a pan of biscuits, took it out in the oven, and put it on the side. And by the time she put it on the side, I had walked in the kitchen door from school. And I grabbed one of those biscuits, stuck it in my pocket. My mother saw me. I started out the door, she said, come on back here, bring that pan back here. Took me, took my head, put between her legs, and had my little butt turned up, and took a piece of stove wood back there and wore me out. I'll never forget as long as I live. I would never steal another biscuit.
And nothing else. That was scolding. Oh my goodness.
I remember one more thing when I was small. I think I was about 19 years old. Mother has cooked some fish, salt herring. She had cooked some salt herring cornbread. My daddy was already in the field plowing. She took it out to him. He stopped, sat down, ate. I'll never forget that. That was a day I'll never forget. Salt herring and cornbread were one of the meals that we ate. We don't eat breakfast then like we eat now. Eggs and bacon, sausage. Back then we ate what we could get. This is another thing I remember too. We had 4 mules on a farm that we live on. And one of the mules was real gentle. And it was my job every day, every other day, to get the mule, hook it to the tobacco truck, drive it to the kitchen door. We had a small barrel that rolled a barrel on the truck and take it to the hog pen across the road. So I done that one day, and another day had passed, and as I was saying, we had 4 mules. We had the farm that Daddy tended was a 4-horse crop. We had 4 mules. One mule we had was real gentle. So it was my job to feed the hogs that morning, give them the slop get a little barrel off from side of the house on the stand, on the tobacco truck, and take it across the road to the hog pen. So that day, I had done that several times, many times. So this day I'm talking about, I took the slop to the hogs, they poured it in the trough, brought the barrel back to the kitchen door, put it on the stand. And instead of staying on a tobacco truck, driving the mule right onto the cellar like I used to do, I was going to get on the mule back and drive the mule right onto the cellar instead of standing on the truck. All I remember getting on the mule back, and the next thing I know, I was standing out in the yard. And it's amazing, and it still amazes me today. I could never figure out how that happened. Somehow or another, the mule disengaged itself from the truck and was standing at the pack house door, waiting for me to take the harness off. And it's amazing me today. I still can't figure out how that happened. I found myself standing up out there in the yard.
Standing in the yard, so where was the mule?
The mule was standing at the shelter, waiting for me to take the harness off him.
Where were you before you were standing in the yard?
All I remember getting on the mule's back. I was on the mule's back. That was all I remember.
Was there anybody else around?
Nobody else around.
And to this day, you still don't know?
Still to this day, I still don't.
The mule one place and you another place?
Right.
Wow. So did the mule run off or he stayed right there?
All I can remember, the mule was standing at this place to take the harness off without look. I don't know what happened.
Okay.
Anyway, another thing happened. Daddy always told me to feed the mule and water, make sure it got plenty of water before we go down the road to play. So this particular Sunday, I went on, got some corn, put in the corn trough, went upstairs, gonna fill the 4-8 hay holes up. I filled 2 of them up, it was cold. My hand got cold. And it was a clear place in the floor. And we had some matches that strike anywhere. So I wrecked up a little straw, little hay, made a little fire, warmed my hands, called myself, stomped the hay, the fire out.
But don't stop.
And kicked the rest of it on top of the hay already done.
Keep the hay on the fire.
And when it filled the other 2 holes up and went on out, checked the trough. The trough was full of water, so I had to draw the water. So I went on there and washed up. And we don't have bathroom like, they had bathrooms then, but like you had that pan of water, warm water. So I washed up in the back room. After I got through washing up, I looked out the window, saw smoke rolling from the barn. I said, good God Almighty. I went and told Daddy, the pack house on the fire. He said, he jumped up and Lola Purse was there. And my brother, oldest brother, was James, was sitting on the front porch. He ran around and took the mules out, and the mules went everywhere.
Let the mules out of the barn.
I had to shut it up. And about 15, 20 minutes, the yard was full of folk. The fire truck was there. There was so many people there. I was just so scared. I was about, when you're 9, 10 years old, anything happens.
Your heart was beating.
You get so excited and stuff like you don't have. So just about everybody here, I heard different ones ask Daddy how it started. Did the hay take heat? Daddy said, I don't know. I heard him, but I didn't say nothing. So after everybody cleared out, Daddy asked, said, boy, did you set that pie house afire? I said, no, sir. Which I didn't. I set it fire. I accidentally said it. But if I had told him I did, I probably would have nothing to sit on the deck.
You got out of that one.
I got out of that one.
Oh my goodness. So what happened? Did it burn all the way down?
It burnt all the way down.
What was in there?
Hay and corn.
Wow. To feed the animals.
Hay to feed the mules, corn to feed the mules too.
Lost all of it.
Lost all of it, set the mules.
Wow.
The old brother had took the mules out, they just run everywhere.
So how old, you say your oldest brother, how old was James?
I don't know how old, I was about
He was older?
way older, because he was the oldest one. Yeah.
James was the oldest one. So he was the first one to pass?
No, Daddy's mama passed before he did.
Okay. So tell about your other siblings. Then
William
just give it
Austin.
a name, yes. Will Austin, you call him
Better
who?
known as Boot, call him Boot.
And who else?
Irma May, which I was staying with, Paul, Irma May and Paul. Then Lucy May, Anna Marie, Charlie Everett Jr., which we call Jack. Then Julie V. Then Christine. Then myself. Then Betty and Margaret.
Okay. That's 12. Out in the world with 12 kids to survive like that when most today, 2022, can't hardly survive with 1 and 2 kids. So talk about that. Who was it that you know took care of y'all? Nothing but the grace of God. So tell us about when you were little, the times when y'all went to church, if y'all went to church.
I remember going to church. You don't go to church like back then, like do now, cause each church back there then had just one Sunday. And we used to go to Christ Temple. And I can't think of the name of the church. I was 125.
The church on 125?
What's the name of it?
What's the church on 125, honey?
But Dennis remember it.
Not Macedonia. That wasn't back
Oh,
then.
not.
I know what you're talking about.
Chapel Hill.
Hill.
Yeah, that's it.
Chapel Hill. So that was Chapel Hill?
Yeah.
Who were the pastors back then? You remember?
I can't remember who were the pastors back there then. Well, back there, Christ Temple, I can't think of the name, but I know I got it in my memory, but the name, I can't think of his name right now. He used to cut hair in Rossville.
So tell us about when you were little, the times when y'all went to church, if y'all went to church.
I remember going to church. You don't go to church like back there then, like do now, cause each church back there then had just one Sunday. And we used to go to Christ Temple. And I can't think of the name of the church. I was 125.
The church on 125?
What's the name of it?
What's the church on 125, honey?
But Dennis remember it.
Not Macedonia. That wasn't back
Oh,
then.
not.
I know what you're talking about.
Chapel
Hill.
Yeah, that's it.
Chapel Hill. So that was Chapel Hill?
Yeah.
Who were the pastors back then? You remember?
I can't remember who were the pastors back there then. Well, back there, Christ Temple, I can't think of the name, but I know I got it in my memory, but the name, I can't think of his name right now. He used to cut hair in Rossville.
Okay.
As I remember, we didn't go to Sunday school every Sunday, but when we did, we would walk to church, walk to Christ Temple, and the lady would teach us Sunday school, her name Mrs. Johnson. And the first Bible verse I learned, I'll never forget. Blessed are the pure heart, for they shall see God. As I was saying a while ago, I just came to me who it was. This preacher was, at the time when I was going to Sunday school, was Clarence Briley. I just want to tell this. After my dad and mother died, we scattered. And I went to live with my brother-in-law and my sister, Irma Mae Hall Moore. At the time, they were living on Bill of the Hill. I had to change school. At the time, I was in the 4th grade at Robinsonville Elementary School. And when we moved, scattered, I went to live with my sister Irma May and Paul Moore, and they would live on Bill Little Hill, and I had to go to Post Oak School. Mr. Lewis was the principal there.
Is that Matthew Lewis?
Matthew Lewis.
I remember talking to him.
And at the time when I entered the grade, 4th grade, I don't know exactly what happened. They put me back to the 3rd grade. And I stayed at Post Oak School from the 3rd to the 8th grade. And at the time we had moved from Bill of the Hills to Mr. Dixon Farm in Palmer Lee. Then I had to change schools again and go to Bethel Union. And at the time I was promoted to the 9th grade. And being in the 9th grade, I went to 9th grade, 10th grade, got a half a year to 10th grade, and we moved again from the Dixon Farm to the Alpine.
Alpine Road is?
Alpine Road.
Where is that located?
About a mile and a half off Highway number 11. There was only one 2-story house back there in that lane, in that road. And we moved back there. I don't know how long we stayed back there. Anyway, one fall of the year, we was raiding back of town, I'll never forget. We was up the pack house. My job was taking off the tobacco stick. They were grading and tied it up. It was a storm that day. It came up a storm. You could feel the pack house waving just a little bit. And we all looked out the window and saw pea stack roll across the field.
Like in the
So we came down from the pack house and went to the house. That was the first storm ever came through. I know my name Hazel. I'll never forget that long day I lived. Then after moving from the Alpine, we moved about 4 or 5 miles on the other side of Bethel toward Oak City. I can't think of that man's name farm there, but we stayed there a long time. I was milking cows and all. And I was trying to think of the man's name, the farm that we moved to. But as I was thinking about that, I thought of a couple more things that happened back in the Alpine Road. I know when we were living back there, I turned 18. So my brother was signed for me earlier age. So I turned 18, and I drive his car sometimes. And still going to school, Bethel Union School. And I got my bus license.
Oh, wow.
And drove bus number 77 for 1 month. And back then, the pay was only about $32.
Ooh.
The highest.
$32
and there was a store across the road. I was charging a Pepsi Cola and a Honey Bun every day. And when I got my check, the end of that month, I owe half my check to that store. And I didn't drive bus 77 but 1 month. I gave it up.
What was it, the pay?
The pay was only $32 a month.
A month, $32
About
a month.
the most a month.
Every day to school, picking up kids.
Picking up kids, dropping off kids.
$32 a month.
We were living back in the Alpine.
Wow.
And another thing happened when I was going to school. My brother-in-law had a cow. It was my job to milk him every morning before I go to school. Sometimes the cow tit was so sore, it would kick the bucket of the milk over before I could finish. And it wouldn't get no milk that day.
Oh, Lord.
And some days, we get milk, put it in the refrigerator, and my sister used to skim the cream off it and put it in a little jar. And when it get about half full, she used to shake it up, 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 till it turned to butter.
Wow.
She take it out and roll it, sprinkle some salt on it, put it on a little dish. That's what we had for our butter. Put on molasses and those hot biscuits.
Wow.
Fat back meat.
So that's how you made butter. You skimmed the cream off the top of the milk after you milked the cow.
Right.
And then?
Let it set in the refrigerator. Let the milk get cool, then cream come on the top of the milk. Then you skim the cream off, put it in the jar, and shake it up.
And let it get solid.
It gets solid. And my sister, you take it out and roll it up, sprinkle salt on it. And it was good too.
That was Aunt Irma May?
Yes.
Okay. So what were some of the things she liked to cook that you remember while staying with her?
As I remember, it was about 10 or 12 headed kids in the family. I think I was about 11. She used to cook 2 pans of biscuit. About that long, about that wide. Said, time to eat. You better be to the table. You won't get nothing.
So many. Wow.
As I remember, of course, one of my nieces remember too. I asked her about it if you'd been too long ago. My brother, he was standing up. We don't have chairs sitting around the table. Like, we had benches. When the benches were full, all of us sitting around the table. And Jack was standing up, sopping molasses. He sopped so hard he broke the plate.
Oh my goodness. That's Uncle Charlie. That's what we call Jack.
We call it Jack.
His name was Charlie Everett.
Yes, yes.
And he was married to
Susie Everett.
Susie Everett. Wow.
I thought of something else too. Kids don't have no chores to do now like we did when we come from school. And we had to stay out of work too to do it. Sometimes gather corn in, didn't have a corn picker like to do pick corn now. We had to gather with our hand, break it off the stalk, throw it on the ground in piles. Be about 3 or 4 heads out in the field, gather and roll, break the corn off the stalk, throw it on the ground. And then after you get the field broke, corn broke off in the field, sometimes brother be back behind picking it up with a cart and mule, throwing it in there.
Wow.
And those that done broke the roads helped to get corn and throw it in the trailer. And then when you get to the shelter, they had to throw it out in the truck with your hand in the barn.
With your hands?
With your hands in the barn.
After you take it off the truck?
After you throw it on the truck, out on the ground.
With your hands?
Same thing with your hands. Take it off the truck, throw it in the barn.
Wow.
With your hands. That was hard work.
Yes.
Back then.
That's hard work, just listening to it. Whew.
Yeah. And you had plenty of exercise too. You didn't worry about exercise. Well, moving from the corn, going to the sweet potatoes. Each family on the farm had our own personal sweet potato pile. I'll tell you how it was made. We dug a hole in the earth nearby the house, put some straw down, and pile sweet potatoes on it. Make a pyramid. And then take some pine straw, put all around the pyramid. Then get some dirt and pack it all up around it. Only just a little hole in the top of the pyramid where you stick your hand and get them out. You usually get a elbow from a heater, stick in it, so you could stick your hand in as you go down. You could move the dirt down, stick your hand in. It was dangerous back there then because it could have been a snake in there. Sitting up in there waiting, pick your hand, you stick your hand out there and get sweet potato.
So hold on, not many people know about what you said, use the elbow to a heater. Tell them about the heaters back then versus now when you press a switch on the wall, because many people don't know what you're referring to.
Your heater pot.
Just in case you don't know what an elbow from a heater is, it is made just like that.
Like your arm. The
Like my
shape of your
arm.
Made out of tin.
Made out of tin. That's what it's called, elbow.
And you put it in the chimney. It will go into the chimney.
You ever go in and the pipe come out from the chimney, go into the heater. You had the elbow right on to the heater, run out to the pipe in the chimney.
So that's what they use to.
But now we don't use
pyramid.
that. I was sitting here thinking as I was with Paul and Irma May, they had moved back on this side of Bethel toward Oak City. I started right back to school at East End where I started there. And I went back to school about, I don't know how long, anyway, I dropped out of school. And I left for Irma May and Paul, went to stay with my sister Julie Lawrence and Hazel Bro Lawrence. Stayed with them, working with Pate Vanderpool. I stayed there about 2 years, and they moved to Oak City to Norma Turner Farm. I went with them and worked with that man up there, Russell Turner, for about a year or two. Then they moved back to Gold Point, the same house they moved out of. We were back with the man they left. I stayed up there. The man liked my work so good and wanted me to stay. So I stayed up there about 2 years by myself. Washed my own food, washed my own clothes, cooked my own food. And there was a man up there in Oak City. He used to bring me back down from Oak City to Rossville for $2.
That was a lot of money back then.
$2 was money back then. Cause back then you could get 5 gallon gas for $1, I believe.
Wow.
And I just thought of something as I was living in oil pan. As I was thinking about this, I thought so much came across my mind when I was back in oil pan, having back in oil pan. I think I was around 17 or 18 years old when Design Travels needed a tenor singer. Robert Moore had to go to the Army. So Robert Johnson asked me would I sing tenor in his place. I told him yes. At the time, that's when I joined Design Travels from Stokes.
And you were how old, you believe?
Between 17 and 18. As I was saying, Willie Till lived in Oak City. He would always bring me down to Robinsonville, and I would stay with my sister Anna Marie until that Sunday morning. He used to bring me down on Saturday night, or Saturday evening. And I would stay with my sister Anna Marie until that Sunday morning, and we were broadcasting on WIAM in Winston every Sunday at 9:30. And sometimes we have a program that evening, Sunday evening, and Sunday night.
So that station WIAM, that station WIAM belonged to who? Not sure.
I can't think now. But
Was that Little Walk?
no, the one little walk done.
Okay.
That was, I can't think of the name of it.
Okay, we'll keep going.
The lady that run the daycare on 64th, she was one of the NASA.
Okay. Smiling face.
Bernadette Roger. Sometimes we leave the radio station, go back to different ones, members of the house, until the time of the program. Program sometimes be 2 o'clock, sometimes be 3 o'clock in the evening, and sometimes we have a night program, 7:30. I remember one time we sung at the radio station in Winston. Some of the guys had breakfast, some of them didn't have no breakfast. And so my brother Charlie said, "Come on, go home. Y'all come on, go home. Me and get breakfast." So all jumped in the car, and after the broadcast left, come Charlie house, my brother Jack. And time we got to the house, Susan was just getting out of bed. The boy said, "Man, you fooled us." How you
They thought they had breakfast.
And while sometimes we were singing, I'll never forget, we had some good times, we had some bad times, we had some ups, we had some downs. Through all of that, I enjoyed and still love singing. We used to go to Virginia, seemed like we were going every month. And I remember one time going, most all the guys' cars broke down. So we hired another guy, Robert hired another guy to take us to Virginia. I'll never forget that day, as long as I live. Because it were 8 of us, and the driver made 9.
Oh my goodness.
And we all filled his car up and had a guitar and an amplifier in the trunk. And you know how that feel, 8 heads, and the driver in one car going to Virginia, from here to Virginia, 100-some miles.
That was a tight ride.
And that was before seatbelt came out. I laugh about it now sometimes. I told Rob I never go to Virginia no more. Stack like that. Sardines
in the can. Oh my.
He took us there for $125.
Wow.
I'll never forget.
$125.
$125.
One trip.
One trip.
Oh my goodness. That was back then.
Back then.
That's a whole lot. Wow.
Pass me not, oh gentle Savior, oh hear my own cry. I just started something up too. When I was staying by myself in Oak City, I got a notice back then they would draft you for the armed service. I got a notice to be in Raleigh a certain time. And I caught the bus and went to Raleigh. And on the way to Raleigh, they always got somebody gonna show off and not all. So this guy that's talking. The man could point the finger at me, talking, "You gonna keep you just up here, coming here like you going to a wedding. You ain't going nowhere. They gonna get you." I sat there and laughed. And the whole while, I sat there and a while, I sit over there and they examined, took me back there and examined all. And they checked me out. I had a bad affected year. They sent me back home, said, "Get that year checked out. We might be able to do something." And I looked around for that guy who doing all the talking. They kept hearing him. We didn't even give him a chance to come back home.
So
I laughed to myself. I said,
he thought he was coming home and you were gonna stay.
So I came back home, and thought about myself. I was getting around about 22 or 23 years old. I said, get old. Look at the old man. Boy, I need me a woman.
Tell the
So
story.
at the time, I just had my eyes on this young lady on Flat Swamp Road. As Wibbly Teal was taking me down to my sister's house on Flat Swamp Road, she came down one Sunday to my sister's house. And had a bicycle, but I riding back behind her. She looked back, saw me. I don't know what that old black fool followed me from. Well, I just would say, at the time I think around about 22, 23, somewhere along there. Anyway, it wasn't long before we got hooked up. This black fool still following her. It's been 59 years now we've been together. And her name is Hazel Louise Everett.
And what's her nickname?
Toboggan, honey.
Who gave her that nickname?
Her uncle gave her a nickname, Toboggan. Nobody life is in God's hands. You can't make me doubt. I know too much about. Oh, my life is in God's hands. You know my life is in God's hands. Oh, you know my life is in God's hands. I say that you can't make me doubt. Cause I know too much about my life is in God's hands. You know my life is in God's hands. Oh, you know my life is in God's hands. I say you can't get me down. Cause I know too much about. Oh, my life is in God's hands. I want to go back to the singing days when I was singing the Design Travels. Back then, we had prayer meeting. Yeah, who accepted, you would have it at their house on Saturday nights. And Deacon Hooker, William Hooker, Mary Andrews, and Robin Brown, Roe Whitfield, and many others that followed the prayer meeting. They all accepted. We accept on the Saturday night after having their house. For the next time, it will be at the next person's house. And I've played in the prayer meeting each Saturday night. I don't know how long we played. And one more thing I thought of. Robin Johnson always taught us when he was the manager of Design Travel, don't never sing a song too long. Make the people glad twice. Glad to see you and glad for you to sit down. the separation of the right and the wrong, I want to be at the meeting around the throne. I want to be at the meeting. I want to be at the meeting. I want to be at the meeting when all saints get home. After separation of the right and the wrong, I want to be at the meeting around the throne. We have come this far by faith, leaning on the Lord, trusting in His holy word. He never failed me yet. That's why I keep singing. Oh, 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 can't turn around. We come this far by faith. We have come this far by faith. Every day we're leaning on the Lord. Oh, 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 trusting in His holy word. He never failed me yet. That's why we keep saying, oh, 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 can't turn around. We come this far by faith. Listen, don't be discouraged when trouble comes your way. Just remember God